Oklahoma City Thunder. They've been
Boy, oh boy.
the talk of the town throughout this
It's
whole
about damn
NBA
time they're about to
podcast.
talk to the town again.
Here we are. I'm going to read this off to you. I'm going to read this off to you right now. OKC is on a 15-game winning streak, but they entered an onslaught of games. But the good thing in their favor, they were home for these games. They had to play the Grizzlies at home. There was no Jada. I going into that game, I didn't know he was going to be hurt. They blew the Grizzlies out. They had to play the Timberwolves healthy. They beat the Timberwolves. They had to play the Clippers at home. They blew the Clippers out, who's been surprisingly good this season.
Was that Kawhi's debut or no?
No, Kawhi just debuted yesterday.
Oh, okay.
We had to play the Knicks at home. The Knicks were not blowing OKC out, but beating OKC by 16 points at half. Believe it or not, that's the largest deficit OKC's faced at halftime this season. Came back and ended up beating them by 10. Clamped them in the second half. And the defending champions,
I was so happy to see
Boston Celtics, come marching into OKC. Let's talk about the game tonight. So, the defending champions coming to OKC, and to start off the game, it was a back and forth. OKC's playing hard. They go up by 5. The Celtics, they come back and they're up by 6. It was just like that throughout the whole first half, and then Boston went on a run to put OKC, I want to say, down by 12 at half. It was looking like, oh, well, this winning streak's over. You know what I'm saying? The Boston Celtics are fully healthy. OKC's not fully healthy. You thought that was going to catch up to them. Nope. Come out of halftime, and I want to read you this stat, Mike.
All right.
OKC holds
his
Boston Celtics to 27 total second half points on 20% shooting from the field. And they end up beating the Celtics pretty handily by 13. And Jaylen Brown was a non-factor the whole second half. Tatum was doing his thing, not as good as the first half. Shea picked it up, Lou Dort picked it up, and OKC steamrolled the Celtics in the second half. So my question to you is, how dangerous is this OKC team?
Well, I think they are probably the most well-rounded team in the NBA. You have damn near the MVP. It feels like it's going to be locked in at one point. Shea is carrying this team.
I hope it is, but I doubt it.
Personally, I hope it is. I'm tired of being the same old people that win the MVP. I mean, having Shea be a part of this with the Paul George trade and him becoming way more than the Clippers ever thought he was probably going to be, trade him to the Thunder and have this probably the best young core in the NBA with Shea, J-Dub, Chet, Lou Dort, although I think he's probably late 20s at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Caruso, Hardenstein, the other J-Dub, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe. I mean, I can go on with the list, but OKC is the best young core in the league, and I'm just happy that they're back on top because it's been about time. I mean, they were good last year. I'm not gonna.
They were the number 1 seed last year.
Yeah, they were great, but we didn't know if that was just going to be a fluke of a run.
Yep.
Or if they were actually for real and had to show up. Now, I did see this today on Twitter. This is around the timeline where they can start ramping up Chet.
I heard. Here's the problem. 8 to 10 weeks, bro.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that? 8 to 10 weeks. So it's January, so March. There's only one problem with that, bro. And I'm so scared and nervous and I'm upset. When he comes back, he's only going to have, a month to the playoffs to get back into gear and get ready for the gauntlet that the West is. Is he going to be ready for that?
I mean, he kind of has no choice.
He doesn't have a choice, but that don't, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you could ramp him up, but you could ramp him up, give him maybe 10 minutes in there for the next, 2 or 3 games, or ramp up the minutes every other game or whatever.
Yeah,
but Hardenstein's gonna have to take a step back. He knows it.
They're either, because what I was hearing they're either going to do Shea, Dort, Jalen Williams at the 3, Chet at the 4, Hart at the 5. They said because they paid Isaiah all that money, they're not going to bench him. They're going to start him, they said.
I mean,
How's
he
that going to
better.
look? You know what I'm saying? You only have a month. They haven't played and that's what scares me. As good as OKC is, like I was telling you, last year, we were the number 1 seed, but it came back down to the last day. There was 3 teams, us, the Nuggets, and the Wolves, tied at 57 wins heading into the last day. We made it out as a 1 seed, but we're the 1 seed handily. But what's going to happen? You're accustomed to playing a certain way now. What's going to happen when you have to add Chet? You got to get Chet the ball. Now, he doesn't require the ball like a DeMar DeRozan, but you got to get him involved. How is that going to look? Is he going to be a good floor spacer at the 4? Like, there's so many questions. Caruso is injured in and out of the lineup. How are they all going to play together? And that's what I'm scared about.
I don't think it's going to be a problem because
I hope not, bro.
With Chet plugging back in, it's only going to make it better. It's not going to make it any
You don't know that, though.
I
What
mean,
if he's not ready? Well, no, not ready. But like, what if he's like he got to play back? He got to play himself back into shape.
I mean,
He's not
that's
shooting
just
the three
that's the
ball
harsh of
well.
injuries. You just got to hope and pray that he can.
That's
just
what I'm
get
saying.
better. I mean,
That's
shit.
what I'm saying.
I mean, I can't compare this to KD whatsoever. But KD came off of an Achilles and just started playing crazy. This is Chet though. He dealt with a season-ending injury before the season started his rookie season. This is his second major injury, I believe, right? Major.
Yeah, because he played every game last season.
And this was his back or his hip?
His hip.
Okay, so I don't think it'll be too much of a problem as long as he makes sure that he doesn't fall too hard on that same hip. But it maybe the shooting motion and standing and dunking, but I think he'll be fine. I think you're just overthinking it.
I hope you're right.
Personally, I hope I am too because OKC is probably my favorite team in the West.
You feel me? That's how I feel about Miami.
You wish.
At Miami,
You wish.
Miami is my favorite team in the East. But because of Jimmy. But like, my point is like, Mike, think about it. Just hear me out. You start the season, and Isaiah, and in preseason, Hartenstein fractures his hand. So now your biggest signing in OKC history is out for 2 months or something like that. So boom, he's about to come back, and now your number 1 pick, 2 pick, is out for 4 months. You got Caruso in and out of the lineup. They never got a chance to play yet. So if you put all the pieces together, you would think, oh my God, wait till Chet gets back. That's not always a good thing, though. Not a bad thing, but it's not always a good thing because now you got to bump, like I said, you got to bump Jalen Williams down from the 4 to the 3. You got to take out Isaiah Joe or take out Caruso was starting at the 2 sometimes, or Kason Wallace was at the 2. You got to bump one of them to the bench. I just don't know, bro. And then you have a month left. You only have a month.
I think it starts in April. No.
Yeah, but he'll get back in March.
No, they're gonna start ramping him up now.
No, they said 8 to 10 weeks.
No.
They said Chet Holmgren will be, if he comes back, it will be within 8 to 10 weeks, which is 2 months, which is a month left.
No, from what I saw, I thought this is the time where they're going to start ramping him up. I would try.
No, trust me, bro. Trust me, 8 to 10 weeks, bro. That's why I'm scared. If it was right now, like if he was to come back like super soon, I probably wouldn't complain because there's more games. But my only issue is there's a month. But there's another thing I wanted to talk to you about with OKC. So let me see this real quick. Okay, they're not showing it. Okay, anyway, look. Boom. So OKC, one problem that they had this season that they didn't have last season was what? Shooting. We weren't like Boston. We were like Boston, I think this year and last year. They were the number one in getting up threes.
That's all they
OKC
do.
was number one in 3-point percentage, not attempts. And Boston, speaking of which, tonight they shot 44 threes. But anyway, Wiggins has been shooting well. Isaiah Joe hasn't been shooting well. Jalen Williams shooting has been down. Lou Dort shooting has been down.
Lou
Kason
Short's been a
Wallace.
streaky shooter though.
Yeah, but they were number one. And I didn't think we were going to repeat number one, but we're like middle of the pack shooting. So I want your thoughts on this. Cam Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. He's one of the best standstill shooters, if not the best in the league right now. Um, OKC has been rumored to get Cam Johnson. Would you do that and add another piece, or would you just leave what you have because you're the number one seed?
Um, Obviously, top contenders want to add on to their team. Get rid of players aren't getting as much playing time. Add a couple picks, and bolster their team. We all know that Sam Presti has hoarded all of these picks from the past 5 years. We got to use them at one point, right? So with the Nets seeking at least one first round pick for Cam Johnson, you guys have the most amount of picks for the next 3 or 4 years. I don't mind them giving a first round pick for Cam Johnson, but who would you give up for him?
Exactly. So what I was hearing was Aaron Wiggins,
Not
Isaiah
bad.
Joe,
I wouldn't give up Joe.
one of the two, right? But
Probably Aaron Wiggins, if anything.
I would. But you see Aaron Wiggins, like, bro, listen to this, bro. So Aaron Wiggins, I don't know if people know, before the past couple of games, his minutes have gotten cut down a lot, actually. So we play the Knicks, and I'm hearing trade rumors about Aaron Wiggins. Oh, a lot of these guys on OKC are expendable. They're not going to be on OKC in the future. We're going to have to start paying guys. We're going to have to start using these picks to get gems like Aaron Wiggins back on the roster to save money. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but I wouldn't trade Aaron Wiggins at all. Not right now. What happens? We're playing the Knicks. The Knicks are whooping us. Aaron Wiggins in the fourth quarter makes like 4 of 4 or 5 of 5, threes and an and one, 15 points in the fourth, and he damn near single-handedly won us that game. Tonight, Aaron Wiggins played good against Boston, showing why you probably should not trade him. Would I like the idea of Cam Johnson? Sure, because OKC, they need shooting, and he's one of the best shooters. But then Aaron Wiggins does stuff like that. It's like, why would you get rid of him, you know? So I feel.
I don't know. Maybe because Cam Johnson is more reliable. He's been in the league longer.
Yeah.
Maybe, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if they don't need to trade for him, don't. Now, if you think Aaron Wiggins is expendable, you trade one of your shitty draft picks that you have, either one of the first rounds, potentially get him. But you're not in a rush to bolster. You don't really need to bolster. You just need to keep going. Hopefully, when Chet gets back, he can ramp up. He can, get back to his old form. But there's not really I don't see a reason to get Cam Johnson.
Thank you, bro. And again, I don't mind him at all. But I don't know. I don't
I
know. I
just don't
probably
think the
wouldn't do it.
OKC needs to bolster. They have a good enough roster.
Thank you. You're the number one seed. There's flaws on the team, but you're the number one seed handily. Now you got to play Cleveland Wednesday night for the number one record in the entire NBA. You might be the number one seed in the whole NBA after Wednesday. All you have to do, in my opinion, is just get healthy. Let Caruso take his time. Make sure Chet comes back ready, and see how you look. I don't think there's a reason to do that, and then add somebody else. I don't.
I feel like
Aaron Wiggins is no reason.
unless you're in line for a legitimate superstar with all those picks, and they give up some role players, give up maybe 4 or 5 first round picks,
Yeah.
then you consider it. But other than that, if you're just gonna bolster just to bolster, and it's just gonna be for like a role player that's not like he's gonna be like the 4th or 5th option at that point, I would just save your picks and wait for the next superstar that's ready.
Yep, and that's how I feel about it. So we're on the same page with that. because OKC fans, I hear them on Twitter, I hear them on Bleacher Report. I'm not doing that, bro. Just keep what you got.